course, go out to both families. And again, there are a lot of individuals that
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or?
Sorry, man. I go smoke a cigarette.
Welcome to the twisted world of when a detective realizes the cop is actually the murderer. Here, the protectors turn predators, and badges become shields for sinister secrets. Explore the bizarre tales of Sergeant William Talley, Detective Stephanie Lazarus, and Officer Matthew Boynton, where law enforcement takes a lawless turn. From love triangles to lethal outcomes, these are not your everyday cop dramas. Matthew Boynton's fall shooting investigations.
Viewers had a lot of questions after a Griffin police officer was cleared in his wife's shooting, and then he got arrested, but not for the shooting, which was ruled an attempted suicide. Our chief investigator is Brendan Keefe, and he has the video of the officer's interrogation.
In the sleepy town of Georgia, the night of April 15, 2016, unfurled a story that could rival any crime drama. The main character? Officer Matthew Boynton, whose life was about to spiral from a domestic dispute to a full-blown criminal investigation, blending the lines between law enforcer and lawbreaker. The script begins with a chilling scene. Jessica Boynton, Matthew's wife, found unconscious in a closet, a police-issued firearm in her hand. The initial report screamed suicide attempt, with Matthew painting a picture of a tragic end to a marital discord. But as the curtain rose, the plot twisted. No gunshot wound, no suicide, just a tale of intrigue and deception.
I just want to start off by letting you know that I am not conducting an internal investigation on you. Okay? So Gary is not implied. Okay, I want you to understand that, all right?
Okay.
All right, Gary does not apply to this incident, okay?
Can you fully explain what that? I understand part of it, just.
She's gonna read you Miranda.
Okay.
So I just want to let you know that I'm not conducting. I know I do IAs, but this is not an IA. This is in reference to a criminal investigation. Okay.
Okay. What's it in reference to?
It's in reference to, you remember the statement you wrote me about Jessica saying you took items from the house?
Yeah, the computer. Yeah.
That's what it's going to be in reference to.
Okay.
As Matthew sat in the interrogation room, his story fell apart like a house of cards. He spoke of receiving a text from Jessica about ending her life, of rushing home to a nightmare. But the detectives, with their keen eyes for detail, saw through the facade. The bag Matthew claimed to have given back to Jessica was found in his possession, a glaring contradiction that marked the beginning of his downfall. The interrogation, a dance of words and wits, saw Matthew weaving a web of lies. His over-explanations, a classic sign of deception, did him no favors. The detectives, armed with evidence and a resolve to uncover the truth, cornered him with questions he couldn't evade. The truth was clear. Matthew was lying under oath, a serious offense for anyone, let alone a police officer.
I understand what you're saying, Miss Jessica's. I should have brought it up here.
You know, all things, and I don't know anything about your other issue, but all things involved in reference to this case, all the going around, the statement that you wrote, where's the statement at? The statement that you wrote. You said statement. I didn't read this. I don't know what the statement said. What did it say?
It's just very brief. I gave Jessica her property like I gave her a computer and everything.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Whose is this bag?
It's Jessica's. I didn't think about it because I used it as a gym bag and she let me use it. I understand what you're saying.
Matthew's career as a law enforcer came to an abrupt halt. He resigned, a move that spoke volumes of his guilt. But the story took a darker turn as he faced no charges for the assault. A shadow of doubt cast over the entire investigation. The whispers of police corruption grew louder, echoing through the halls of justice. Now, my bud Larry will shed some light on this.
Honesty is the bedrock of law enforcement. Lying under oath undermines the integrity of the badge and erodes public trust in the justice system. Matthew Boynton's case highlights the critical need for transparency and accountability in law enforcement, underscoring that the badge is a symbol of trust, not a shield for deceit. The lack of charges against Matthew not only tarnished his reputation but cast a long shadow over the entire department.
Stephanie Lazarus's murder case, William Talley's murder case.
the law, and it's unclear which side of it the suspect in this case is on. She was a 26-year veteran of the Los Angeles Police Department, by all appearances a model cop, yet Stephanie Lazarus now faces murder charges. Prosecutors say that almost 25 years ago, she beat and shot the wife of an ex-boyfriend, and that DNA evidence proves it. David Wright reports.
In the murky annals of law enforcement, few tales match the soap opera drama of Stephanie Lazarus and her descent from detective to defendant. It's a story that unfolds like a crime thriller, set against the backdrop of the 1980s Los Angeles, where neon lights mask darker deeds. The central figure? A love triangle with Lazarus, a shining LAPD star, at one of its apexes. But when romance turned to rivalry, it led to a tragic finale: the murder of Sherry Rasmussen.
He was bludgeoned and then shot several times at close range in the chest by rounds that almost all of which would have been fatal immediately.
The plot thickens in February 1986 with the discovery of Rasmussen's body in her condo. Initially chalked up as a burglary gone fatally wrong, the case soon froze over, buried under the snow of unsolved mysteries. Lazarus, meanwhile, continued her climb up the ranks, her secret as hidden as the motives behind Rasmussen's death.
Police at the end told Nels Rasmussen, "You're watching too much TV."
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or? Or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or?
Fast forward 23 years, and the case thaws under the warm glow of advancing DNA technology. The twist? The bite mark on Rasmussen's body, a silent witness all these years, whispers Lazarus's name. The hunter becomes the hunted, as Lazarus, once the interrogator, finds herself on the other side of the table, her eyes mirroring the disbelief and shock usually reserved for suspects.
She has, at times, sort of rapid eye movement. She has a little bit of a nervous giggle.
I mean, are you guys, is this something, I mean, you said I was going to interview somebody about art.
She clearly is feeling like the world has just fallen upon her.
Some of Sherry's friends said that you and her were having a problem because of the John situation.
As the trial unfolds, it reads like a chapter from a detective novel. Prosecutors paint Lazarus as a woman scorned, driven to lethal extremes by jealousy. Defense lawyers portray her as a scapegoat, a pawn in a game of legal chess. But the jury's verdict leaves no room for doubt: guilty of first-degree murder. The gavel's echo seals Lazarus's fate, 27 years behind bars. It's a fall from grace as dramatic as the Hollywood sign, emphasizing the fact that even those who enforce the law are not above it. Now, let's hand it over to Larry for a bit of legal insight.
This case is a testament to the power of DNA in rewriting narratives. Evidence, silent for decades, can turn the tables, proving that in the pursuit of justice, time is but a number. Lazarus's story serves as a chilling reminder that justice, though sometimes delayed, is relentless in its pursuit. Her conviction, decades in the making, underlines the ethos that no badge or rank can shield one from the consequences of their actions.
William Talley's murder case. In the quiet suburbia of 2019, a tale of love turned lethal unfolded with former police Sergeant William Talley at its dark heart. The scene, a domestic dispute with his girlfriend, Kelly Levinson, escalating to a crescendo of gunshots and a silent aftermath that screamed tragedy.
Our goal today was really to protect families on both sides, especially Mr. Talley's children. They didn't ask for this, so I'm trying to respect their privacy.
As the argument spiraled out of control, Talley, consumed by rage, transformed from protector to perpetrator. In a moment that shattered lives, he fired at Kelly, leaving her lifeless. The gravity of his actions dawned on him, and like a scene from a crime thriller, he fled in her truck, leaving behind a trail of regret and despair.
Hearts, of course, go out to both families, and again, there are a lot of individuals that did not ask to be included in this. Their lives are forever changed on both sides.
The plot thickened as the police, responding to a distress call, entered Kelly's home. The anticipation was palpable, the hope for her safety dwindling with every step. Then, the devastating discovery: Kelly's body lying lifeless, a grim testament to the horror that had unfolded. The house, once a sanctuary of love, now a crime scene echoing betrayal and loss.
So we waived the preliminary hearing. I'm hoping to sit down and speak with law enforcement. Hopefully they will give me some more information, since we won't have the evidentiary hearing we normally do. The next step is, as it always is, just gathering police reports, gathering information about the incident, and getting to know my client, finding out what led up to this.
The pursuit of Tally reached a dramatic turn when fate intervened, leaving him injured in a car crash. The law, with its long arm, finally caught up to him at the hospital. In a twist of poetic justice, the hunter became the hunted, his badge no longer a shield but a symbol of his fall from grace.
We're taking it no matter what, right? With the bandage, yeah, remember? All right, brother. We're going to take care of you now.
Tally's trial was a somber affair, the courtroom a stage where justice played its role. The verdict was inevitable: guilty, sentenced to life behind bars. A life once dedicated to upholding the law, now confined within the walls he once guarded. Now, we turn the spotlight to Larry for a legal perspective.
In domestic disputes, a firearm is not just a weapon. It's an amplifier of tragedy. Law enforcement officers, trained in de-escalation, must be held to the highest standard in conflict resolution. William Tally's case serves as a warning of the fine line between duty and dereliction. It underscores the need for law enforcement to embody the principles they swear to uphold. His life sentence not only serves as retribution for his crime, but as a message that the law is blind to badges and ranks.